Warning, the following program contains images that may not be suitable to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
The world of paranormal activity. Some people think they've had contact with ghosts, spirits or ghouls, but is this the case? Some people think they're haunted or possessed. Other people are more skeptical and think that there's a scientific reason behind paranormal occurrences. What do you think? If, like me, you're a little unsure, then hopefully by the end of this you'll be able to make up your mind as to whether the paranormal occurrences are science playing tricks on us or whether there is another world out there that doesn't like to be disturbed. Welcome to False Awakening. We start our journey at Athelhampton House in Dorchester. Built by Sir William Martin in 1485, this house is well known for its title of one of the most haunted houses in England. There's been many supposed ghost encounters in the house, such as Cooper, the Grey Lady and the famous Phantom Monkey. Are these just stories or are they genuine occurrences? I want to go for a walk around the house and see what's around, and most importantly, talk more about the most fascinating ghost encounter story for me, and that's the sword fighters. What an atmospherical place we're in at the moment. If you're looking for a place to go ghost hunting, then this is certainly one of the top locations in Dorset. Now we're going to look at some of the ghost encounters from within the house, and one of them is the Grey Lady. Various staff, owners and guests have seen her walking around the house, and the current owner, Mr. Robert Cook, has even seen her walking through the walls within the bedrooms. Let's go upstairs and see what we can find. So this is one of the many bedrooms within Athelhampton House, and this is supposedly where the Grey Lady was seen walking through the walls. Now, is this true or was this made up? We'll talk later in the programme. Let's go back downstairs now to the Great Chamber where the sword fighters were supposedly seen. So this is the Great Chamber here at Athelhampton House, and it's here where some sword fighters supposedly burst in and had a fight just around here while a lady was sat in this chair reading a book. Now this fight went on until one of the sword fighters had their arm cut. While this was going on, the lady was pulling the chamber bell to try and get the servants' attention, but no one actually turned up. Now when she confronted the owner later on in the evening, she said that there were guests just through there having tea, so it would have been impossible for anyone to get in here without being seen. Is this another fictional made-up story, or is it a genuine occurrence? So still in the Great Chamber, where the famous Phantom Monkey story is told to thousands of Athelhampton House visitors every single year. Now apparently, somewhere along this wall is a secret passage, and although you can't see the monkey, you're told that you can hear scratching from the panels where he's trying to escape. Now, is this another made-up story for attraction, or is this the real deal? So what do you think of the ghost stories at Athelhampton House? We'll get an expert's opinion later on in the programme. So we've taken a look around one of the most haunted houses in England and heard some of the famous ghost tales. Now I want to go and see a man who knows everything there is to know about paranormal occurrences. I'm going to meet David Goulden from the Dorset Paranormal Research Team in Weymouth, and I'm going to chat to him about how he'd go about investigating a place believed to be haunted. Hi Dave.
Hi Ben, welcome to No Thought on this beautiful sunny day.
Thank you very much, it is lovely. So tell us a little bit more about your role as a paranormal researcher.
Well, my role as a paranormal researcher, I mean, it's fascinating work. I mean, I absolutely love it. I've spent way over 10 years deconstructing that word ghosts, what is a ghost? What we're going to do is do some daytime experimentation today based on some of the reports here at the No Thought. We'll do some nighttime stuff as well, which will be in night vision. And it's an interesting thing actually, most reports are during the night, and I think that's probably people just their senses are heightened, so that's why we tend to investigate more during the night. But I like to do quite a lot of stuff during the day, because I found historically most reports aren't during the day. Quite a lot of people do report things, and things happen when they don't expect it, so we'll do a bit of daytime experimentation as well. And I'm fascinated why people have these experiences. What is it about us that has these experiences, and what is it about these locations where things are experienced? I'm fascinated with that. I'm trying to get behind the reports, really. I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm not hunting ghosts. I'm just looking at what's behind the claims of the paranormal and trying to find the clues as to why people might be experiencing such strange things.
Great, let's go. The Know Fort was built in 1860 and then commissioned in 1872 at a cost of £120,000. The Know Fort did not see action against any enemy until World War II, when the main threat came from the air. Until then, the heavy 6-inch guns had been mainly fired in training and in competitive events. However, in July of 1940, 2 ships failed to identify themselves and were fired on. Now, the fort is a great historical attraction, as well as being a great venue for ghost nights and paranormal research.
One of the common phenomena reported here in the forts down in the corridors is actually quite a lot of sound phenomena. As you can hear, it's very echoey in this part of the fort where we are now. And there's quite a lot of reports of whistling and sounds like that we've discovered over the years. And it's been reported by quite a lot of different people. We recently had a paranormal events group here who claimed to have captured 26 minutes of constant, intelligent whistling down here in the tunnels. So they were whistling popular tunes. They were stopping just before the end, and apparently the whistling coming from somewhere was continuing the tune, which I thought was quite interesting. Now, what we don't know, and I've heard some of that footage, and it's very good, but what we don't know is what controls are in place. I don't know whether it's somebody's, the squeak on the bottom of somebody's shoes that might have sounded familiar to the end of the song. It could have been interpreted as that, so I don't know what controls are in place. But what we'll do is we'll just take a couple of moments in this part of the fort just to set up a little sound experiment. And what we're going to do is just use 2 bog standard dictaphones, and we'll just take a couple of little recordings for about 20 minutes, half an hour. Just pop one there. If you just come through here, obviously it is daytime now. We haven't really got into the night vision mode, and we haven't got into night time yet. Actually, let's put that there. Perfect. There's nobody around the fort, so any noise is captured there. It wouldn't be any human intervention. And this is one of the things we do. Actually, we do set up quite a lot of experiments during the day. Quite a lot of phenomena is reported at night, but in my experience I've found that quite a lot of people report things during the day. So we do as much experimentation during the day as we would do during the night. Just heading into the Weymouth at War exhibition here at the Know Fort. As you will notice as you come through here, it's quite narrow and there are quite distinct corners. Now this is part of the fort that some volunteers refuse to come to. They just won't come down here because they've seen figures, they've experienced a lot of things down here. Obviously there's quite a lot of visual prompts to the past here, so I don't know whether that's what plays on people's minds when they come down here. And again, those corners and that sort of like that quite sort of narrow tunnel effect, again, I don't know whether that's sometimes symptomatic of why people might experience or feel a bit strange down here. Okay, so it's going dark at the Know Fort, so I think it's high time we took you downstairs, into the corridors, into the tunnels, for a little look at what we might find. We're in another part of the fort now where a certain auditory phenomena has been reported, where people have experienced something. They've heard a strange sound that is quite often interpreted as footsteps. So if we just spend just a moment here, we do have a dehumidifier on, so you can just hear a slight buzz, but it's good to have natural sounds of an environment coming through, because if anybody was to experience something down here, this is how they would hear it. So we're not manufacturing this sound. This is a genuine sound associated with this area of the fort. So again, we've spent some time in this part of the fort. We were trying to listen for the sound of footsteps, which has been quite commonly reported here in this corridor leading to the D-Day display in the fort. What's quite interesting, one night that this was reported here, I realised that it was quite wet outside, and I had a suspicion, which, if you go around here, just take a little look, and again this is about reading the environment and tuning into the environment. If you just bring the camera in here, you will see quite a spooky figure. What we noticed was actually there was quite a lot of water dripping through from above down here, and actually every time it hit the floor it did sound quite distinctly like a thud. We noticed it was in patterns, and it's almost as if the water was held up at the top of the cavity there, and then as it hit the bottom it was making a real heavy thud, and we noticed there was a certain pattern to this, and at one point it did sound like footsteps. And I have to say, with that in mind, that could be one explanation for why people may have appeared to have heard the sound of footsteps in this part of the fort. So we're in an interesting part of the Nothe Fort now. This is the Caponier. What's interesting about this is it's not really ready for the public. It's an out of bounds and off limits part of the fort, which we do use for paranormal research and some of the paranormal nights that we have here in the Nothe Fort. It's a great bit of hidden history, it really is. It's a superb structure and a superb part of the Nothe Fort. Just to explain a little bit about what the Caponier is, why we are where we are and how it works in terms of the rest of the fort, is Rob Birch, who's one of the volunteers here at the fort, along with myself. We've got our badges, just turn mine round. So just explain to us, Rob, the Caponier, where we are and how this works into the fort.
Caponier is a defensive structure. It juts out from the main body of the fort. It faces along the moat, the original moat. It's a dry moat because we have the Nothe Fort. It's never filled with water. And the purpose of it is that if attackers reached the moat, they would then be shot to pieces from the Caponier.
So we're exploring the Caponier here at the Nothe Fort. I'm quite interested actually by how people experience certain things here in the Caponier. I mean, a lot of claustrophobia has been experienced here, and I think that can interpret how people feel, and can sometimes they can mistake the fact that they're feeling a normal and natural thing as being something paranormal. I'm quite interested actually in sound and the paranormal and how sound relates to the paranormal. I'm also interested in alcoves because obviously we've got a vaulted ceiling here above me. We've got a lot of air vents as well, which are bringing drafts straight down into this cavity. Obviously that can make people, I believe, feel a little bit strange down here. And I've noticed actually the research I've done here at the Nothe Fort, you get people into an alcove, they do feel that sense of maybe being slightly overpowered. So maybe there's some interesting research in that. Now this is quite an interesting part of the fort. Obviously Rod's explained a little bit about this being the Caponier. If you actually walk down the side of the Nothe Fort, there's the bit that juts out and comes round. That's actually where we are now. Unfortunately, people do like to throw their Coke cans in here. We can just pick that up. So you've got to kind of watch when you're walking around and with your feet here. Interesting, when we do some of the paranormal events here, I was here a couple of months ago actually with a group, and I brought 15 people down here into the fort. It is quite funny actually, and this is just a little anecdote from paranormal research, the fact that as we were stood here in the dark, in the absolute quiet, you couldn't hear a pin drop. A couple just came past the Caponier. Quite clearly they'd fallen out. They were having a bit of a row. Little did they know that there were 15 people just sat here on the other side of the wall listening to their every word. So I hope you've enjoyed our little tour around Nothe Fort after dark. It's a fascinating location. I urge you to definitely come and take a look during daylight hours, and maybe book yourself into one of our paranormal nights that we do here at the fort, and maybe come and witness some of the phenomena that people experience yourself. But obviously to have that open mind, really try and evaluate what you're experiencing and whether that is truly paranormal. People quite often ask me, do you believe ghosts exist? And I have to say yes, I do. I believe people have very real experiences that fall very much within what we classically term as being a ghost. Now whether those experiences are paranormal That's the million-dollar question.
So we've heard some stories from Hampton House, and we've seen how a paranormal investigator would investigate strange occurrences. Now Dave mentioned that there is normally a perfectly reasonable explanation for these occurrences, so I want to speak to some people around Dorset about their views on paranormal occurrences.
Okay, my name's Owen, and no, I don't believe in ghosts. I'm sure there must be a logical reason for it all. It's probably down to cooling temperatures or something like that.
Hi, my name's Jack. Do I believe in ghosts? I'm not sure. I'm open to the idea of it. I've heard a lot of strange occurrences before. Can we explain a lot of these strange things that happen? Again, I don't think we can sometimes. There are some things that, just happen, and there probably is an explanation for it, but if you can't find one, then, it's kind of like innocent till proven guilty, I guess.
Hey, my name is Jamie, and do I believe in ghosts? Matter of fact, I do, because I have been reading a lot of ghost books recently, and there's a lot of strong coincidences that these actually aren't real. And with the strange occurrences, there's a ghost that's at the bottom of Love Lane. If you don't greet it, you can feel like a sudden push coming towards you, and for some reason I always feel that push, and lots of other people that I talk to also feel that push as well.
Hi, so my name's Lauren, and I don't think I believe in ghosts in the way that people think of ghosts. I think there's something, but I don't believe that people, come back from the dead in a kind of ghost-like form. And I think there is a rational explanation for odd occurrences that go on, but I do, it doesn't mean that I don't react in that way. I don't have that fear when you get to the top of the stairs in a kind of haunted place, so it doesn't mean that I'm not scared of the kind of...
Hello, my name's Carl. I do believe in ghosts, although I've never had an experience myself. I do think that strange things that happen can have a logical explanation, but I also think there are times when strange things happen and there isn't a logical explanation for it, and that's partly why I believe in ghosts.
Hi, I'm Jamie. Do I believe in ghosts? No, I want to though. It's something that I've wanted to believe in for quite a few years now. A lot of people have always talking about it, saying, do you believe in this? And I want to say yes, but I've never come across anything that is believable to me. Is there any reason for these strange occurrences? No, they just happen.
Now that we've heard some ghost stories, found out how an investigation is done, and got your views on the world of the paranormal, I want to speak to Dave again from the Dorset Paranormal Research Team to see if he picked anything up on the night vision footage. So we've gone around the fort and taken a look at some of the well-known rooms for paranormal occurrences, and we've gone through the footage now. Dave, what did we find?
Absolutely nothing, which is the reality of paranormal research. I painstakingly worked through all the footage, all the visual footage that we took on the night, and some of the daytime stuff that we did as well. And I've listened to some of the audio, because we set a few dictaphones in certain places where there's been quite a lot of auditory phenomena. We haven't picked up anything that we would term as being interesting. That's not to say that it would be paranormal, but something that we and that's why we record everything. We record a lot of audio, we record a lot of visual stuff as well, is to just be able to review that footage later, because it's important to record everything, and then we've obviously got that footage to look back at. So we've done that, we've been through that process, and we haven't come up with anything that is regarded as interesting. We certainly haven't come up with anything that I would term as being paranormal.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been great fun.
It's been a pleasure.
So we've been on a journey to some of the spookiest places in Dorset. We've heard some ghost stories, and we've also heard from some paranormal experts. But the question is, does science back up paranormal occurrences all around the world, or is there something else out there? I'll leave that for you to decide. Thank you to all my guests on the programme. You've been watching False Awakening. Bye bye.